Hi everyone, I'm Stan from Eagle Vision and I'm here with Rob Davidov. Rob, welcome.
Hi Stan.
And we're talking about interior design and architecture and how optimally, developers should think about, especially in these times when the market is a little bit tougher and to make the property and the project stand out requires a little bit more thought. So today we're going to talk about a case where, let's say, a developer has bought a site with a permit and what they can do about getting that interior design to really take it up a notch. So Rob, what would you say are some of the things that have happened when you've seen clients come to you with a planning permit?
Sometimes everything is looking quite good and really it just needs the interiors to be thought through,
yeah.
But the layouts and everything are really well done. Other times there's problems, not necessarily with the planning, but it's more fundamental than that. It might be to do with the construction cost, or the size might be deemed inappropriate for the market by the client or by the estate agent who's dealing with the property. So it depends on the scope of the issues that are determined, if there are any at all. And sometimes the shells might be good, but the interiors really could do with a little bit more of a rejig, and that may or may not require secondary consent or retown planning. But generally, you can make some quite important improvements to the spatial qualities and the efficiency of a space, and that can be a very good and optimum use of the secondary consent process and really add a lot of value.
Yeah. So you mentioned earlier that you worked on a project in Lock Avenue a little while ago when the developer brought you a town planning permit. So do you want to talk a little bit about that and how it worked?
Yeah, so that scheme was developed with another architect, and it was costed and it came in above what would have been a reasonable construction cost for that project. So we looked at it, we made a few minor changes, we were able to get that through secondary consent without the need to advertise. But there was a lot of expenses because I was the second architect engaged. We had to redocument the entire project, so the client had to bear those costs. But we were able to bring the project at a suitable construction budget and also feed in that instance, they were looking to retain the properties, not sell. And in that, with that mindset, we looked at using materials that were going to be very resilient and very hard wearing, that were going to be able to counter any of the wear and tear that would normally come from a rental property.
Yeah, so the decisions that the developer needs to start making at that point in time. Yeah,
well, they could have obviously been made earlier, and it would be best practice to, even from sketch design, be getting cost advice, so you're not going to be going down and getting a rude surprise later, but that doesn't always happen.
Are there any other critical issues that you've seen with town planning permits brought in? I guess walls not in the right places, and what can you really do about it?
Look, sometimes people do want to find more construction efficiency by finding a better grid, getting more repetition in a design, and these are all things that can be looked at. Just trying to get more modularity in a design.
Yeah.
So these are things that people do also want to look at if it hasn't already been considered, or when you've purchased a property with a permit aren't already in the design.
Right.
Yeah.
Can interior designers really make that much of a difference at that point of time if the town planning is so far down the track?
Yes and no. It would really depend. It depends on the type of building we're talking about. Is it a multi-res which has many similar floor plates?
Yeah.
There's a lot of inner suburban developments which are very idiosyncratic because of the res code envelopes and all of those other issues, which means there might be a lot of potential efficiencies to unlock in the planning, but it's much more involved to get to that element to be able to unlock it. And now in the market with the very changing demographic in apartment buyers, for instance, sometimes the smaller one-bedroom or studio apartments are becoming less desirable, and people are looking for 2 and 2+ or 3-bedroom apartments. So it might be looking at reconfiguring, consolidating and getting larger footprints, and they might already have 2 car spaces, and it might be a different model. But that's something that people are looking at as well.
Yeah. So it really takes the scope way out from interior design to actually looking at the high level of it and understanding, does this project actually make sense? Which is perhaps why the project was being sold in the first place.
And really, is the value just the envelope that you've got a permit for, and you need to reconfigure that, which is happening as well.
Fair enough. Very good. Look, this is all that we had time for this episode, and next time around we'll talk about marketing of the interior design package. So when it comes to some of the marketing strategies, how to optimally present your project to the market. Thank you for watching.